Alrighty guys, so going into the first game here, I will be playing with Sea-Doo, Beanslayer, and myself at around 2600 rating. Shadow Priests, like I said, aren't too strong right now, and Pharaohs aren't too strong with Shadow Priests currently as well. But we decided to give this comp a shot. I will be playing as the Edge of Insanity build. I think this is one of my first few games currently, and I have played with the spec many times before. Previously with the Boomkin is the class that you kind of want to play with, but trying it out with the Feral Druid, playing against Jungle Cleave, which is Pharaoh, Survival Hunter, Holy Pally, opening up. I decided to stick with a Power Fusion here because they do not have that offensive dispel. The gates open, just starting up, just waiting, kind of waiting for them to push in. We're more of like a defensive comp, so right now we're just gonna wait for them to push in and begin to roll out the pressure. And now that the hunter is here right now, I can kind of see going into this match right now that they're going to be focusing more on telling my shaman, my Rusty Shaman who's Sea-Doo, and crowd controlling me, putting me into traps, putting me into hodges. So I kind of recognize that now, and I got to be ready to use my life swap or use my heals or shields when it's necessary. Both teams kind of open up on each other. Bean decides to open up their Pharaoh Druid. I trinket that Hodge there, and the Pally gets put into the bash, which he decides to trinket. If you can see on the right side there, his trinket is now on cooldown, and he gets put into a DR cap totem. And I'm like, okay, this is a good spot here. So what I want to do is they're all stacked. Pally doesn't have trinket. I'm gonna try and go for this fear, and as soon as I get this fear, I need to start getting my damage off. So I sprint in. I kind of wait for the cap to end, get that triple fear going on the hunter, the Pally, and the Feral Druid, and I just kind of just get damage going. Just start darting the pet, starting whatever I can, get my insanity up, because like I said, I am not playing the Void Form spec. I want to try and get up to 100 insanity as fast as I can without dotting the Paladin. Right now, you can see Sea-Doo is in a lot of pressure. The Feral Druid is also in a lot of pressure, and the Paladin currently has wings up. So what I'm trying to do right now is, even though my fear is on DR, which you can see on the right side, I'm gonna decide to go ahead and put the Pally in a mind control, preventing his heals coming out from the coming out to the Feral Druid, and just kind of keep him CC'd as long as I can. Mind control him again right here, and that way we can force. If you can see here, we can force all three trinkets: Hunter Trinket, Pharaoh Trinket, and Pally Trinket previously. And right after the mind control ends, I put the Paladin into a silence, and he has no wings left over. So we had a pretty insane CC chain there. It was stun, fear, maim, into double mind control, into a silence, and we're pretty far ahead right now. The Pharaoh's wall is about to end, the Pally's stuck in silence, and we have a lot of pressure rolling. And now it's my job to just try and get to the insanity as fast as I can, get up to the 100 insanity. Paladin decides to sack here, so we're not going to get any damage. When the Paladin uses Hand of Sacrifice, it now prevents 100% damage taken on that target and transfers it to the Holy Paladin. So what I do here instead is I decide to mind control the Pharaoh Druid, preventing all healing. And if you can see my focus frame there in the middle of the screen, the Paladin currently has Divine Favor, I think it's called, which makes him immune to interrupts and gives him a huge heal on the target that he decides to heal. And this is a big play that I did make here, where the Pharaoh Druid is Hand of Sacrificed and the Pally has Divine Favor up, and he was about to be topped, but I decided to mind control the Pharaoh instead, prevent that healing. Healing becomes immune. I get interrupted there, and just start getting my damage off. Shadow Crash here. I might have missed it. I did miss it on the Feral Druid, which is a bad play by me. Had decided to swap Sea-Doo there, but I know right here, Pally has no trinket, Pharaoh has no trinket, Hunter has no trinket. They're all off DR. I need to go for the CC chain. So what I decide to do is I get a fear on the Paladin, knowing that he's gonna bubble that fear. I'm gonna preemptively empty his bubble and get more CC going here. Get my dots going, full dots on the Pharaoh. Pally's currently stuck in a maim into, I believe, is a DR maim into a bash from Bean. So we had a pretty insane CC chain going on there. Our main focus against this matchup here wasn't to spread pressure, was to mainly just focus on one target, CC the healer, CC the other target, and just focus on that Feral Druid. Alrighty guys, so going into this next matchup, we will be playing against a Resto Shaman, Boomkin, Survival Hunter. Pretty strong comp currently. It was a lot stronger before when Shamans had Spirit Link as their main talent, but it's, right now Shamans are now playing Earth Shield, so it's not as strong, but it still is viable. The main focus for this comp though is to try and get as much pressure as you can out as fast as you can and try and hop into that insanity when you get a chance. I did get interrupted there by the Shaman, so right now I'm just trying to get my dots up, get 100% insanity, get as much damage as you can going, because we can't focus on CCing the shaman. You can't. It's really hard to CC a shaman when the target that you're on takes 20% reduced damage. So what you want to do is you want to try and AoE the shaman down, especially since we don't have a mortal strike effect as this comp. You kind of want to just get this spread pressure rolling. Right now it's gonna be a lot slower pace of a game. I get Hex Totem there, and just try to get my dots rolling as soon and as fast as I can. The shaman decides to drop an Earth the Shield Totem there, fake shock, get 4 dots on the target, and I try and call for Bean to swap to the shaman as soon as he can. Knowing that my team is under pressure, I need to play a little bit more safe. The Boomkin did use his cooldowns. Hunters have cooldowns up right now. Boomkin used Trinket offensively, so we gotta play a little bit safe. The pressure will have to come in later, and I just have to keep my team stabilized for now. So I'm trying to shield as much as I can, just trying to stay alive. I decide to try and MD the clone preemptively, but I did not get it. As soon as he does get clone, I believe I try and go for that MD right here. I get silence, MD the clone from my shaman, silence the opposing shaman. We got the shaman wall there, as you can see on his frame at the top here. He is currently silenced, and he decides to pop his damage reduction, which I believe is called Astral Shift. And at this point, all of my opposing enemies currently have no offensive cooldown, so it's time for us to go on the aggressive side now. And I go in, I go for that double fear, use my damage here, my Shadow Crash on the Hunter and the Boomkin now that they're stacked. Go for that big hit, 300k on both, not too big, but big enough for them to get a lot of pressure. I fake shock here, and now we have to start going for the big deeps. As you can see right here though, the other team, even though they don't really have many cooldowns off, the Survival Hunter does have an MS effect. I decided MD Sea-Doo out of Cyclone again here, just to help us stabilize. Full Moon, Boomkin does have access to Full Moon, so we have to be really careful moving forward in this match. Sea-Doo does end up getting beamed there, getting locked out. The thing is though, I still do have life swap, so I'm trying to hold life swap as long as I can for that last moment where we really have no cooldowns left available to us. We swap to the shaman here. I get a double fear on the DPS, and this is where our special starts to roll. We kind of Bean and I kind of overlapped their bash and silence, but I do land a big Shadow Crash on the shaman, and this is where they start falling really far behind. And as long as when you're in this situation, when you're max insanity and you have all dots on all targets, my damage is pretty high right now. I have about 120k DPS, and in arenas that's pretty high. A Pharaoh Druid and Shadow Priest doing 120k DPS in arenas currently is pretty high. So as you just have to try and keep pressuring that shaman, keep your dots rolling as much as you can, and by doing so you have to continue faking interrupts. Right there, if you can see in the top, the Boomkin does land a Full Moon on my Pharaoh Druid, so I think right here I have to start playing very defensive, make sure that my shaman gets out of CC that I need to. Bean is extremely low, so I'm like, alright, even though he pops Survival Instinct here, I don't want to lose this game because we are going to win very soon. I decided to just throw a life swap onto Bean Slayer and just line aside the Boomkin and just press Dispersion to make sure we're safe. Because at this point, we have so much pressure on the other team. We don't want to lose that pressure. Just make sure your dots are rolling. I get kicked by the Hunter. I have Silence coming up. I have a Shadow Crash hitting right here. Big Shadow Crash on the Shaman. 600k hit. Boomkin's trying to go for Cyclones. Earthen Shield is down. Silence on the Shaman. And there it is again. The Shaman, even though he got Silence, he's still able to use Astral Shift. But now the Astral Shift is over. We know that after this, it is the time to go. So you want to try and continue keeping up the pressure, but at the same time playing as defensive as you can. This is a very scary moment here, and I was very happy that I'm a Blood Elf, because the Boomkin is about to get a Full Moon off. My Shaman is currently stuck in a Cyclone, and Bean Slayer is about 20% HP. So I'm like, alright, I'm Blood Elf, let's go for that Silence, interrupt the Full Moon. Shaman decides to drop his Fear Link, we get the triple Fear going. Interrupts are still up, so I gotta be a little bit careful with interrupts, but I have a lot of damage going right now. I get interrupted by the Hunter, I get Hex Totem, and the other team, all they're trying to do right now is just try and stop my damage. Stop my damage as much as they can. I get sheared there, which is good by Shaman. Their Boomkin is extremely low, and like I said, just continue the pressure, guys. I have a big Shadow Crash available. I believe I'm gonna drop a Shadow Crash very soon on the Shaman here. Try and preemptively drop that Shadow Crash for when he moves closer to it, and unfortunately do get a miss, but still have a lot of damage going. Shadow Death on the Shaman, Silence Boomkin for no peels, and he does go down. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments below. I'll make sure I answer every single question if I can, and make sure you guys check out my YouTube. Thank you so much, guys. See you guys next time.